can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Oh, hey there.
What the? Hey, oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Don't you know?
Oh, hey over there.
Oh, hey over there.
My neighbors would hate me if I did that all the time.
Well, let's keep doing it.
Oh, hey over there.
Oh, hey over there. That was a lot of oh, hey there's.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Bradley.
And this is
History buffoons.
History buffoons.
Sure.
The history buffoons.
Yes, Miss Moneypenny. Yes, we are the history buffoons. Thank you for joining us today on this
Oh, you're welcome.
wonderful podcast episode. I don't know if Kate is fully into this yet.
I feel a little loopy.
Well, that's called life.
That's called my everyday.
I know. Why don't we talk about the beer we're going to try today?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm
dancing in my chair.
So we got a beer that we're both going to try. A lot of times we get each individual beer, but we got a beer called Lagerado from Odell Brewing Company, based out of Colorado, which is my,
Oh, it's from Fort Collins.
Yeah.
That's where my brother's family lives.
I know.
Thereabouts.
Thereabouts.
They recently moved, but
Oh, did they?
they're still in the area, but it's like a smaller
Suburb
town.
or something
yeah,
like that?
something like
Okay.
that.
So this is a, as the name implies, Lagerado. It's a crispy lager.
Lager rock. I don't know where that came from.
I wish it would have never showed up.
Lagerado.
Lagerado High. Wait, Rocky Mountain High, Lagerado.
No, I was singing the Ford song.
No, I'm
Lagerado.
well aware of what you were trying to sing. I was doing the John Denver song, the
Oh, I don't know that.
Rocky Mountain High, Lagerado.
I don't.
I'm sure you would if you actually
It's
heard
an actual Lagerado is a thing,
No, it's the name of this beer.
but but it's in a song.
No, I was changing it from Colorado to Lagerado.
Oh, you pulled it off really well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's my many years of John Denver impersonating that helped me with that.
I'm a Cher impersonator.
Well,
Okay, so the beer can says. Shh, the beer can says we've heard the lore of Lagerado, that place where we take it easy and keep it crispy. When you're here, every story has a chance to be a tall tale.
Huh.
So does that mean it's fake?
Yeah, it's a fake beer. What am I even holding?
What?
Is this air? It's a really pretty can. I like the coloring. I like the mountainscape, the terrain on
Blues
it.
and greens and yellows.
Yeah, it's really pretty, so I like it.
It's a mountainscape.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep, that's a Lagerado.
Oh, that's crispy, just
Well.
like the can said.
Didn't disappoint.
It's citrusy.
I mean, a little bit, I guess. I like it. It's not bad. Do you like it?
I do.
I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I'm having also an older beer from when we were in Kentucky.
Yeah, we still have some.
The Cougar Bait from Country Boy Brewing. It's a blonde ale, so it's a little bit heavier.
Yep.
And so when I was switching between the two, it was different in my mouth.
I get it, and I have my also from Country Boy Halfway Home American Pale Ale because we tried that on the last episode, but we still had some left over, so we got backups.
Backups.
Back it up.
You want to know something?
I do.
I don't have a question for you.
Well, that seems
But
uncharacteristic of you.
I know, but it's probably going to be a longer episode.
I gather that. How's that go?
Or
Or a two-parter.
This could potentially be a two-parter.
Yeah, we'll kind of determine that.
We'll figure that out. We don't know.
I mean, it's up in the air.
There's some backstory.
Yep. Which every story has.
Yeah.
There's some burps.
This one seems to have a lot of backstory.
Sure.
Is it necessary? I don't know, but we're going to find out.
Well, let's dive in deep to this.
You actually know this topic.
I know.
What do you mean you know? Did you cheat?
I did not
cheat.
Did
you look at my notes?
No. I confuzzed her.
What did you do?
I created a document on our drive, and I happened to see the first thing that was on there.
You butt.
I let it be. I didn't dive in past that.
But
well, because this topic is something I gave you.
One of our first probably recommendations.
Yeah, one of the first ones I said, hey, let's do a story on
and
this.
And I've put it off and put it off and put it off because there's a lot of backstory.
There really is. And the cool thing is, I know of this. Okay, don't be mad because I accidentally saw it. That wasn't my intention. I happened to create a document on our drive to show you something, which I showed you earlier, and I just happened to see that. Yep. Damn it. But I know some. I don't know a lot.
Sure. Wow. This blows. What he doesn't know is we're going to talk about Dante's Inferno. Boom, boom, boom. He's speechless. Why are you so quiet?
I'm waiting for you to go.
Because you want to know about Dante's Inferno?
Yes.
That's fine. I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Anywho.
Okay. So he knows now that we're going to talk about the Blood Countess.
Yes.
Elizabeth Bathory.
Is that how you're supposed to say it as far as you learned?
So I heard Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah, I've heard
which
that.
Is the American probably.
I'm pretty sure.
I've heard of Elizabeth.
Right. Yep.
Bathory.
Sure.
Like a battery in your phone.
Right. I like how you went to battery in your phone as opposed to any other thing that can use batteries.
I thought car said phone. Car battery.
Remote control. I mean, either way.
Television remote. I was called the channel changer growing up.
I used to have to go over to our giant box of a TV. And,
yeah.
Hey, Brad, go to channel 6.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
were the channel changer.
Yeah, pretty much. Because back in the day, remote controls were a newfangled thing. And you went old school and said, hey, kid, channel. No.
Okay. I've also heard Elizabeth.
I've heard that before, actually.
Elizabeth Bathory.
Okay.
So it's spelled Bathory.
Right.
But in Hungary, it kind of separates BAT
from the
and
rest.
HORY. So Bathory.
Sure.
Okay. So Blood Countess.
Yes.
Why?
Because she used to bathe in the blood of virgin females to try and make herself young and or reverse aging, basically. Yes.
That is the theory.
Correct.
Yes. So she was born August 7th, 1560.
Okay.
In Hungary.
All right.
And she was born into like a super powerful family.
Yeah, they were pretty high status, right?
They were. Okay. And for good measure, despite the ironic nature of this, as you will figure out.
Okay.
Her last name, Bathory, means good hero.
Oh, geez. Side, but I guess that depends on what side you look at for that. Oh, dear.
So her parents were actually cousins.
Oh.
Yes.
First?
They were both like part of the Bathory family, just in different like lineages.
Okay.
So they are cousins.
Gotcha. I did not know that.
But that was kind of a thing back then.
Well, yeah. Especially in families of power, I guess we'll call them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She grew up in a castle whose name I can't pronounce.
I'm not surprised.
Exed.
What is it? How do you spell it?
Ecsed.
Ecsed.
Exed.
I like either one.
Exed Castle.
Okay.
And she was actually really, really smart.
Was she?
Yes.
Okay.
Her parents made sure she got like a top-notch education. She was fluent in Hungary, obviously, Latin, Greek, and German.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she also dealt with seizures and headaches.
Oh, dear.
So eventually they presumed it was epilepsy, but back then they didn't really understand that.
Of course.
They honestly thought that it was something spooky.
Something sinister?
Yeah, something sinister's afoot.
From the great beyond?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they thought it was kind of supernatural, so they actually kind of kept it hush-hush in the family.
Well, yeah, because they didn't want to have her be burned as a witch or something.
Yeah.
Which they maybe should have.
That's also a thing. But Elizabeth was living in a time when things were changing. It was called the Renaissance. Renaissance.
Yeah.
On one hand, she's getting like this proper education for a woman. Plus, she's navigating a religious shift.
Okay.
With the Protestants and the Catholic Church.
Right.
So her life is a bit of mixture of new world and old world.
Was it pretty Catholic in Hungary?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
And she also grew up in a time where violence was fairly normal.
Well, I mean, because what year did you say she was born again? I'm sorry.
1560.
So she was what, 60, 80 years before, like after Dracula? Roughly.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's look at Vlad the Impaler.
Don't you know?
Let's look at Vlad the Impaler.
He used to
1431 he was born.
Oh, okay. I was a little bit off. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so,
1431.
130 years. And I mean, look what he did. And that's when he was born. So he was obviously up until I guess I was probably going more towards the later part of his life. But yeah, I mean.
Vlad the Impaler.
Don't you know?
He was assassinated in December 1476.
1476. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
31 to 76. Okay.
Okay. Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Vlad the Impaler.
So, violence, right? She had seen lots of shit. She saw servants getting whipped, people from lower classes getting all sorts of punishments.
Right.
Back then, they just didn't see violence as the way we do now. Obviously, it was kind of desensitized.
Well, it was pretty normal.
Yeah. A whipping was standard, and they chop off your hand for stealing. And if you're a woman suspected of witchcraft or acting unwomanly, quote unquote, they would burn you at the stake.
Like steak and shake, or?
That's actually not great. I mean, the shakes are good, but
You've eaten there? I've never been.
Yeah, it's an Illinois thing.
Well, I mean, okay.
Anyway, so they were burned at the stake or drowned for being unwomanly.
Oh dear.
So treason, also twisted torture methods designed to cause like maximum pain before killing you.
So like they did a lot of twisted shit for sure. So
to make it like a little cherry on top, it was her family that was doing this.
Well, right, because they were the family of power.
She was powerful,
right? So she was a countess. What did her parents have the similar title, or what were they?
They were baron and baroness.
Okay.
So she actually had like a full family. So her uncles were one of the highest ranking officials in Transylvania and Chief Justice of Hungary.
Okay.
Another married the Queen of Poland and became King of Poland. Wow. His name is Elizabeth Bathory.
Okay.
And a couple of her cousins end up princes of Transylvania.
Oh, really?
So, like, it's all in the family. So, they weren't like your average rich nobles. They did own land like all over the place.
Sure.
Modern day Hungary, Slovakia, Romania. And they weren't just comfortable. They were very rich.
I didn't know that denoted being very rich. So, wow.
So they ended up lending money to The Austrian Habsburgs.
And who are they?
So they are a very, very, very powerful, long-standing family.
Okay. How long were they in power for?
Over 600 years.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, save like 5.
Wow.
Yeah, like there was this little stint in the middle. I don't know
little hiccup.
What happened. Yeah, a little hiccup, but they came back.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so they were like the royal family in Europe.
Wow.
So their main...
I'm sorry, what was their name again real quick?
Habsburgs, Habs, Habsburgs.
I feel like I've heard of that, but I not ringing a bell.
I mean, 600 years.
Well, right, and that's why I'm like...
I know, I've never heard of them.
I don't know. I don't know if the names just reminded me of something else or if I've actually heard them, but you would think they've been in power for 600 years with a little hiccup in the middle.
It was like 636 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So... they were in Austria with Vienna as their capital, and then for a little bit during like Elizabeth's time, they partook in Prague for a little bit.
Okay,
but they basically produced kings for Hungary, Spain, Portugal, like you name it. They controlled all the like little colonies too.
Sure.
Okay, so they were also super clever.
Okay.
They got power through fighting wars and marrying into other royal families.
Right.
And all the marrying into families was not great for the gene pool.
Well, no, because when you start to... there's a really good Nirvana album called Incesticide. Anyways, no.
The Habsburgs actually came up with a serious health problem called the Habsburg jaw.
Is that
and
that
it's
chin?
Like really, really long chin, like all of Jay Leno.
Okay. Is Jay Leno secretly a Habsburg? No. Okay. So now that you bring that up, yes, I do know of them. I know of one in particular, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong or whatever, but yes. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So during Elizabeth's life, the Habsburgs were at their peak, right?
Yeah.
So they were basically running the Holy Roman Empire. And then even though the Holy Roman Emperor was technically elected, they were all elected by the elite.
Yeah.
So they were always elected.
Imagine that.
Ha ha.
Well,
they already own so much of the empire. Why not just be the emperor, you know?
Well, when they're that powerful and that many people probably follow them and whatever, it's pretty easy to get elected for that. So that makes sense.
But the like batteries were like hobnobbing, elbow rubbing.
Yeah, like
with all these people
going to the same parties.
Yeah.
I mean, some balls and shit.
Balls.
I mean, square dances. I mean, something. I don't know. The square dance back then?
I don't know. I like the round balls over square dancing. So, the Holy Roman Empire.
That was one of the weirdest exchanges we've ever had on here.
Square dancing, but the ball is round.
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay.
If people could have seen your gestures, I guess that would have been weird.
Maybe we shouldn't take this video.
Well, luckily we haven't started video yet. So.
You are so welcome, people. So the Holy Roman Empire covered a ton of land.
Yeah.
Germany, Austria, parts of France and Italy, and a bunch more.
Yep.
And they thought they were the real deal. And they were super serious about punishing their Catholic beliefs on everybody. But then there was this whole Martin Luther putting up
Protestant, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, he put up a 95 thesis, which was written in 1517.
Yep.
I think it was up against the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Was it a church? Yeah. It was in Germany.
He's from Germany, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it argued salvation through faith alone.
Right.
Okay. So all this like Protestantisms and Catholicisms were
clashing.
Yes, thank you. Now, if you were a country like Hungary, smack dab in the middle of all of this, you were basically at the mercy of the Roman Empire and the powerful Habsburgs. Habsburgs. And they could do pretty much whatever they wanted. And to make things worse, after 1453, from the west, they were also another big threat looming in the east.
Ooh, who was that?
Well, that is the Ottoman Turks.
Damn right it is.
Yes.
The Ottoman Empire.
Hungary was like getting squeezed from all sides.
Yeah, they were in a very bad position for them.
And the Habsburgs were always meddling. And then the Ottoman Turks were constantly trying to like invade Hungary. And it pretty much affected Elizabeth's life. And I will kind of dwell on that a little bit farther down.
Okay.
But then back in 1490, Hungary lost their king, Matthias Corvinus. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the Ottoman Turks took Constantinople, which is Istanbul.
Right.
But if you're in Constantinople, you're actually in Istanbul. But if you're in Istanbul, it was Constantinople. Is a song. Istanbul was Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. So if you've a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting you, Istanbul.
Who's it by?
Fuck if I know. You've never heard that?
No.
Oh, well, because I made it up. Ain't I brilliant? So the Ottoman Turks took Constantinople, which is now Istanbul.
Did you know there's a song about that? Anyways. My face hurts from laughing.
This is serious business. This is a serious story.
All right, Turks, okay. Istanbul, Constantinople.
Yes. So King Matthias had built this like really strong army to protect Hungary.
Okay.
But he fucking died.
Did they say what he died of, or do you not have that?
No, I don't have that. But things went downhill pretty fast after that.
Because it seemed like, was that like all of a sudden kind of
I think
thing for him?
Yes.
Was it? Okay.
Yes, but I don't remember. I don't think I read.
No, that's all right.
So they started picking like weak kings, so the nobles would have more power.
Oh.
But that backfired.
How come?
Suleiman the Magnificent, a Turkish ruler, saw his chance and took a huge chunk of Hungary after winning a battle.
Okay.
In 1526, and they also burned down a town called Buda.
Buda?
And killed the Hungarian king.
The one after Matthias?
Yes.
Okay.
So Hungary was basically like a fucking Royal Rumble for the throne.
Sure.
Okay. So after the king got killed, it was a freaking free-for-all. You had Ferdinand I, the Austrian Archduke, who is basically a Habsburg big shot, wanting Hungary for his empire. Then you had Janos Zapolya, who was a guy running Transylvania and leading what was left of the Hungarian army. And then Ferdinand was throwing his raid around saying, hey, I'm related to the last king. So my brother's the Holy Roman Empire. Nope. Emperor.
There it is.
Yeah. But the Hungarian nobles were completely split. So even the Bathory family couldn't agree. Elizabeth's mom.
What was her name? Did you have that? I don't recall if you did.
I don't.
That's okay. I was just curious.
I think it's Anna. Anna and George, I think, were her parents.
That's so
generic.
Yeah.
So was Elizabeth.
I like the name Elizabeth.
I do too. It's my middle name.
I know. Anyways.
So Elizabeth's mom sided with Janos.
Janos.
Like her side of the family sided with Janos.
Is that like Thanos' cousin?
Yeah. He was the guy running Transylvania. Okay. And what was left of the Hungarian army. Okay. But then her dad's side, the said.
Yeah, that guy.
Bathories.
Yes.
Went with Ferdinand.
Oh.
Hoping he'd help them fight off the Turks.
Okay, sure.
Basically, they had two kings running around each other, each holding their own group of supporters.
Right.
And then Elizabeth's dad, Mr. George, switched sides.
Scandalous.
And went to Janos because his wife's brother, his brother-in-law, was getting pretty powerful.
Wow.
And maybe thought it was a good idea to help boost the batteries by being with someone who was like getting pretty powerful.
Sure. No, I mean, It was, especially back then, it was all about positioning yourself.
Yes, but the Habsburgs, who George was with originally, not happy.
Well, why would they be? He jumped ship.
He did. So you know what they did? They took his castle.
Oh, shit.
You have no home.
We kick you out.
But at the time...
So you got evicted?
You got evicted. But George was like, Nana, Nana, boo, boo. And he married Anna.
Was that a direct quote?
Elizabeth's mom.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Remember, they were cousins.
That's right.
And their cousins were split. And so they married each other. And they're like, Nana, Nana, boo, boo.
Look what I'm going to do. Hey, cuz, come here.
So the Bathories were united, but made some pretty powerful enemies. So
did Anna have a say in this?
I don't know.
Okay, just curious. All right. Anyways,
so Janos's reign was like a roller coaster. There were peasant revolts.
Oh dear.
Ferdinand grabbing part of Hungary and a risky alliance with the Turks.
Yeah.
Then Janos died. And Hungary got chopped into 3 pieces.
Oh, really?
Habsburg Hungary.
Oh, sure.
Ottoman Hungary.
Okay.
And Transylvania.
When did Transylvania turn into Romania?
I don't know.
Was that not a part of your research?
No, why would it have been?
I don't know.
When did Transylvania become a part of...
Is that the sequel to your Istanbul song? Wow.
It wasn't until 1920.
Really? I guess I never knew that, clearly, because I asked.
That was... I knew it was modern, quote unquote, modern times, but I didn't realize it was that. Yeah, modern.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about the world of Elizabeth Bathory. What she was born into, specifically Transylvania. It was kind of like an in-between zone.
Yeah.
They had their own princes, but then the princes were basically playing both sides, trying to keep the Ottoman Turks and the Habsburgs happy.
Yeah.
And it was like a constant balancing act.
Okay.
And her life was shaped by these 2 big forces. So you had the military stuff with the Turks, and then you had the political games with the Habsburgs, since they wanted control of Hungary. And despite all the chaos, Transylvania was actually doing really well.
Okay.
The princes, her cousins, basically had a constitution, and they were supposed to represent these 3 main groups: the Hungarians, the Saxons, and the Skelzers.
I believe in you.
Zecklers.
Wow.
Zecklers.
And you started with the other thing.
Seltzers.
Seltzers? Remember, you're banned from having those.
Yes. So, even though they were stuck between the Muslim Turks and the Catholic Habsburgs, Transylvania was pretty chill when it came to religion.
Sure.
They were pretty tolerant. And a lot of the nobles and many of the princes were actually Calvinist Protestants.
Okay.
And Protestantism was basically thriving there.
Right.
So they had this thing called the Edict of Torda in 1568, which basically says that everyone could practice their own religion.
Oh, so like the way the world should be.
Exactly.
Weird.
So it was actually the first time in Christian Europe that they legally guaranteed like religious freedom.
Wow, that's pretty progressive for that time.
Yes.
Because they used to push religion everywhere.
Yes, everywhere. Back then. So, of course, the Bathories.
Yes.
They were a big deal, right?
Of course.
Cousins. Stephen Bathory, one of our uncles, became the first Bathory prince in 1571.
Okay.
So, yeah, Transylvania was like this unique place, kind of caught between empires, but also forward-thinking in many ways.
Oh, really?
So, under the Bathories, Transylvania was trying to be its own thing. I really want to watch Dracula after this.
I know, me too.
I know, right?
Let's do it.
It was basically a semi-independent state.
Okay,
so Dracula and then Nosferatu.
Yes.
Or Nosferatu. We have to watch the Demeter ship movie. What was that called?
The Last Voyage of the Demeter, I think is what it's called.
For those of you who don't know. So When Dracula was trying to move from Transylvania to London, he took a ship called the Demeter. Yeah, and they made a movie about that little ship. In the book, in the Bram Stoker book, they actually don't talk about
not very much at all.
No, his trip. So it's a whole movie based on his trip. Anyway, yes, I really want to do that now. Okay.
So do I.
Okay. So, they were forward thinking. They were a semi-independent state. They could handle their own business. But when it came to like the big international stuff, they had to like tune in with like their powerful neighbors and figure out what the hell was going on.
Sure, makes sense.
But then you have Sigismund Bathory, who was a prince on and off.
When you thought about it, I'm a prince today.
I'm a prince, but he was a prince of Transylvania. And he was involved in a massive war against the Turks called the Long Turkish War.
Okay.
It was just a part of a centuries-long fight between the Ottomans and the Habsburgs.
Wow, really?
And basically everyone was fighting everyone.
Okay.
So the Long Turkish War was just like a couple of years in between this centuries-long thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Transylvania was supposed to be on the Christian side against the Turks, but it was total mess. You had the Habsburgs, the Ottomans, Wallachia, which is now part of Romania, and Transylvania going at it. Did you know that Wallachia was where Vlad the Impaler was born?
Yes.
Yes.
I just never knew how to properly say it. I always called it. I know it probably the Wallachia. W was obviously
yeah, it's spelled with a W, but I think
I'm sure it's Wallachia.
Wallachia,
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
But for a short time, the Habsburgs took over, and they tried to make everyone German and Catholic, which didn't go over well.
No.
That led to a rebellion, and Transylvania got its power back. But the fighting between them and the Habsburgs didn't stop.
Okay.
Being in charge of Transylvania was like trying to balance a bunch of spinning plates.
It's really weird that you went with that analogy.
Okay, like balls in the air.
Juggling?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
now
spinning plates.
With the Bathory trying to climb even higher, they arranged for Elizabeth to marry Count Ferenc Nadasdy
from
Austria.
Okay.
I think. She was 10.
Oh, wow.
When they were betrothed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She went to live with his family at the castle near the Austrian border.
Yeah.
They're in Hungary, but they're on the Austrian border.
Sure.
I'm going to say that. And that's going to be fact, okay? It's just going to be fact. It's Hungary.
Check Wikipedia. It's fact.
What are you talking about? That's where I got all my information.
Well, clearly.
Yeah. Here's where things get a little funky. When she was a teenager, there was a rumor.
Yes.
Which popped up actually way after she died.
Oh, really?
Yes. That she had a secret relationship with a lower class guy.
Oh, dear.
A peasant, and had a baby.
Oh, really?
Supposedly, when Count Nadasdy found out, he went nuts. And he had the guy castrated and thrown to the dogs, and the baby was either hidden away or killed. This don't exist.
I would think back in those times it was probably killed.
But it was just a rumor.
Well, of course. And so, what was the purpose of bringing this up well after she was even dead?
Oh, I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there's lots and lots of letters pertaining to Elizabeth and from Elizabeth. And they actually praised her for being pure.
Okay.
So they're thinking this was just a fucking rumor.
Oh, well, I mean, rumors do come up and are just rumors sometimes.
Yes. So she married Count Ferenc Nadasdy when she was 15. So they were
courting for 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
That's kind of like Annie Oakley all over again.
They got married within 1 year.
Yeah, they did. That's wild. How old was Count?
I think he was 14 or 15 at the time of betrothal.
Oh, so he was
probably about 19.
Young too.
Yeah.
Okay.
They married in 1575, and it was a political move.
Sure.
Bringing these two bigwig families together.
Makes sense.
She did keep her own name.
Yeah, which is kind of wild.
Bathory d'Exed, which kind of tells you how important her family already was.
Right. Well, they were pretty prominent.
Yeah, exactly. So they did have some kids.
Okay.
Some of them likely did not make it to to adulthood.
Sure.
But she had Anna, Catalin, and Paul. And they were all grown up with a governess, much like she did as she was growing up.
Right. That's typical for the time.
Yeah, but there were like letters in her will and stuff like that didn't mention like some of the other birthed kids.
Only those ones were mentioned?
Yes.
So she probably had more.
Yes.
Only those made it to adulthood.
Exactly.
Type thing. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So Elizabeth was pretty busy running her husband's estates on her own as he went off to be a military commander.
Sure.
So he was fighting the Ottoman Habsburg Wars, which Transylvania had jumped back into, trying to free from the Ottomans.
Okay.
So Faranek went off to war in 1578 and basically didn't come back for several years.
Wow.
Years.
That's crazy. And how old was she at this time? This was right after she got married?
She was 18.
Okay, so still pretty young.
Yeah.
And they were only married she would have been married for 3 years at this point, roughly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That meant Elizabeth was left to run the whole gambit.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's in charge.
She managed his businesses and their estates, and she was actually really good at it.
What kind of businesses did it have? Did that mention it at all? Or?
It was more like land
so just
and
land
taxes
ownership.
and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's common for the time, of course.
So she had some serious responsibilities. She had to defend their lands. They were right on the way to like Vienna, which was a major Habsburg city.
Okay.
She provided medical care for people in the area and helped women who had lost their husbands in the war and were like basically left with nothing.
Sure.
But now figuring out how people really felt about their landlords back then could be tricky.
Yeah.
But usually you look at letters of complaint or petitions, and that's how people kind of aired their grievances.
Right.
Whether it was something small like theft or something big like someone getting hurt or killed.
Yeah.
There are 0 letters complaining about Elizabeth's rule.
That's wild. I mean, that shows that she was a
good leader.
Pretty decent person.
Well, her husband was gone.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
And there wasn't even any grievances like about taxes. Everybody was pretty happy. So while her husband Fenerick was making a name for himself as an effective military leader, he helped capture a bunch of Ottoman castles, and basically he was out there being a war hero.
Yeah.
And she was holding the fort down at home, right?
Sure.
So he actually had a reputation for being seriously brutal with his Ottoman prisoners.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So he just, whoever he captured, that they didn't fare too well?
It got pretty grotesque, apparently.
Oh, dear.
They would mess with the bodies of guys who were tortured to death, and then they would apparently play catch with their heads.
Oh, so that's kind of like in... what was that? I was playing ping pong and ding dang. No, I'm sorry. Dodgeball.
That's what the ping pong and ding dang is.
That was Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Dodgeball, where they started throwing their heads in opium dens or whatever. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Anyways.
Hey, we're having a 2-parter, and this is the end. I'm so sorry, but
sing us out, Cher.
If you believe in love after love. You asked for it.
All right, buffoons. That's it for today's episode.
Buckle up because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore?
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com. We are Bradley and Kate, music by Corey Akers.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.